Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. I am Laura Washington,
And I'm Linda Pereira.
and this morning we are talking about the train. This is a great topic to have. I have to say, all night long I was hearing Johnny Cash in my head. I hear the train a coming. It's coming round the bend.
Well, it's been a long time that we have been waiting for a train. Long time. I think we had Governor Wells, Salucci, Swift, Governor Patrick. We had a bunch of governors. And now, finally, Governor Baker.
It's been 30 years in the making, and it's a very exciting times, I would say, for the city of Fall River. I'm thrilled to have this happen, and I know that change is scary. It can be scary for some people. I mean, think back to 200, 300 years ago when, the train started coming, about 200 years ago maybe. And it goes across. People were afraid. They didn't know. And so here we are. The train has been around for hundreds of years, but it is coming to Boston. And you have people that are afraid of what could happen, what could be. But we're going to talk about all the positive stuff today that I believe that's coming with the train.
Well, when you think about students in Fall River who want to attend a college in Boston, but maybe, can't afford to reside there because everything is so expensive, that they would have the opportunity to take a train in to their classes and then come back to Fall River at night. People in Boston would be able to live in Fall River and commute to Boston to work. Many people do that in the Attleboroughs.
Yeah, I never thought of that, Linda.
In Braintree.
That's a great idea. I didn't think about this. So many good schools. I recently just spent the weekend out in Boston, and I was thinking, I wonder if one of my daughters are going to want to go to school out here. Got Northeastern, Berkeley College, everything's out there.
Emmanuel.
And they can literally just take the train right in if they wanted to. It's a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to the job opportunities that this is going to bring for people. People that don't want to drive in that traffic or have to drive to Lakeville or Attleboro and get on the train, literally can just get on the train right here in the city.
I'm thinking of you're getting on the train to go to work. You've got time, to unwind, to get something done, to get prepared for a meeting that you're going to make calls on the train. Sometimes I know state reps that go to Boston that will have somebody drive them, and people will say, gee, they can't drive themselves, or, one of the aides will be with them to drive, but they're working all the way up to Boston. They're on their phone. They're, getting prepared for things. So I think it would be great that you could just jump on the train. And think about the sports centers.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go see the Celtics, you want to go see the Bruins, you want to go see the Red Sox. I think that you need to have the trains running at that time, running late, because it's expensive to go to any one of those venues is expensive, and to park your car. Last time we went to Red Sox to Fenway Park, and we went to see Paul McCartney.
Oh, okay.
It was awesome. It cost us $40 to park.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
That was a lot of money, I thought. That was a lot of money. And then, when you're leaving, you're in bumper-to-bumper traffic, et cetera.
It takes forever to get home.
So, to be able to jump on a train is easier, I think.
I'm looking forward to so I have 4 children, and I have 2 teenage girls at home right now, and it would be nice for them to be able, when the train comes, to get on the train and spend the day in Boston. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, many years ago, I would drive with my girlfriends. We'd park in Hyde Park. We'd hop on the T, and we'd spend the day in Boston. And so now they don't have to do that. They're going to be able to go right down the street and hop on the train, go to Chinatown, go to the shopping district, and just spend the day in Boston and come home. And on the flip side of that, people in Boston are going to be able to come to Fall River and explore Fall River. I mean, Fall River has some of the best foods. I've traveled around this country, and I've never seen cuisine like Fall River has with the ethnic foods that we have over here, the Azorean food. So people are going to get on that train and come to Fall River and eat in our restaurants.
You know, it's a lot of things. We're going to have the Christmas parade.
Yes.
The first Saturday of December. And people come from all over to watch
massive.
that parade. It's massive. It's really, you know, it's kind of a yearly thing now. And Grace Gerling does a wonderful job putting that together. That's a lot of work. It takes a year to prepare for that and get all the people that are going to participate in the parade. But people would come down from Boston with kids to watch the parade. And there's other things that that we have here. The Narrows. Many people that go to the Narrows come from out of town. Many people from Boston. Or even if you're working in Boston but living in Fall River and you're making more money there than you would make at a job locally, you have expendable cash. You have money to spend, to go to restaurants and to do different things. But, you know, when you say going to Boston as well, you know, my granddaughter loves to go up to, Downtown Crossing.
Yep.
She loves to shop at Downtown Crossing. And we go up, again, it's like a lot of money to park the car for the day and, you know, spend the day shopping. She loves this place called Primark.
Oh, Primark. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
she loves Primark.
Yeah.
4 floors of shopping.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they have one in the South Shore Plaza too. Yeah, my kids love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's opportunities, and I don't want the residents of Fall River to make decisions based on fear, because change can be fearful. Change is scary. The fear of the unknown. What could have? There's so many what if, what could have, what should have. But progression is a good thing for the city.
We tend to get rid of some of the monuments or things in Fall River that were really important to us. I mean, the theater district, there was no theater like the Durfee Theater. And, you know, look at the Fall River line. Wouldn't you love to have a boat that goes from here to Boston?
Oh, absolutely.
I would love that.
Yeah.
You know, there's other modes of transportation. And when you look at, I know this is crazy to kind of throw in with the train, but when you look at global warming and, you know, the fires that you've had, the floods that you've had, and all of those things, I mean, that's a sign. People need to stop paying attention. But if you're taking the train, it's less than all these cars back and forth on the highway.
It's your carbon footprint. It does help with your carbon footprint. And if people are not back and forth on the highways, and, you know, I do think that it is a great thing. In my opinion, this is a great thing. I said this the other day at the council meeting, and I'll say it again. If you don't move forward, you eventually move backwards. You stay stuck, and we cannot stay stuck. If you look at revitalization in different communities throughout the country, it was progression that brought them up. It was progression that changed these cities that were stuck, and moved them forward. And we have some amazing, wonderful things. When you talk about the Narrows, Linda, the Narrows is a big deal. I think I said this on the show before. I was out in New Hampshire, and there was this other couple there, and they said, Fall River, do you go to the Narrows? Like, it was like the big, you know, thing. And so we have amazing, great things. I was over, we have in the Mills, there's a jewelry maker for Ralph Lauren, and he's an artist, and he has all of his beautiful jewelry that he designs for Ralph Lauren in the mill in Fall River, and all of his amazing artwork. I mean, we have so many hidden gems that this opens up opportunity for more people to come in and see that and live, and people will move in to Fall River, and they will come, and people that don't want to be around it can move. I mean, it just brings up so many opportunities. People can move and get on the train and come back and forth. So it's a great time.
I think it's a great time for us. I mean, I know we've waited 30 years for this, and finally it's coming. And ironically, I had the opportunity to have lunch with former Governor Dukakis week before last. And he said, finally, you're getting the train. And I made him a deal that for the inaugural train ride, I would pick him up in Brookline, and we would, you know, he would be on the train with us. But one thing he said that he made sense. Why is this not one of those fast trains? You know, they have fast trains all over Europe.
Yeah.
Why is it not a fast train? It should be a fast train. But, you know, he said, boy, you know, we've waited a long time, finally. And he was really big with that, with the
good
train,
put.
with the MBTA, et cetera. But, when you talk about going and spending the day, I have a friend of mine who's a senior citizen, and he said, I can't wait for the train, and I hope that they have a late return to Fall River, because he said the bus used to have, but the bus would go to Boston, and you could come back at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. He said, so I'd spend the whole day there. You came back at 10 o'clock, you got here at 11, quarter past 11. It was beautiful. He said, now the last bus is like at 6 or something. It's much earlier. And he said, especially if you're going to go see a sports game, if you're going to go up and see a play, and maybe people would come down here and see a play. Little Theater does a great job. And I don't think a lot of people in this city go to different venues that we have here.
Yeah.
But people come from out of town to these venues. You talked about the Narrows. Most of the people that go to the Narrows are people from out of town, out of state. You were in New Hampshire, people come. Rhode Island, people come. What is it that we're not getting there? What are we not feeling about the arts? And then you'll have more events in Fall River because people will participate in the events. I mean, this coming week, we've got a couple of events. On the 6th of November, on the Sunday, there's a spaghetti supper to help raise money to light up the Kennedy Park, which will
Yes.
be lit up the whole month of December. And then on Thursday, the 10th, talk about Fall River food, your typical Charisse and chip sandwich, and they're having a fundraiser for Sneaker McDonald, George McDonald's, and his wife Evelyn. They ran the Twilight League in Fall River for 61 years.
What's the Twilight League?
It's a baseball league.
Okay.
But he ran it for 61 years with his wife. And she was like behind the scenes. She would sew people's uniforms, and she was always there with him. So they want to erect a monument at Lafayette Park in honor of them. And the monument, they're looking at it, it's kind of like a baseball,
Yeah.
which is a great tribute. He was a police officer in the city for years. And when I told my husband that I had got a call about helping out with this particular idea, he said, you know what I loved about Sneaker? When Louis was in high school, they had the old alumni field, the Luke Urban field. And he said, the guys would go, but hey, everybody would kind of jump the fence because they didn't have the money to pay. And he would look at them all and he would say, I'm telling you right now, when they do the Pledge of Allegiance, I have to stand still. I can't move. So it was kind of telling the kids, when the Pledge of Allegiance come, I can't move, jump the fence then, because you're not going to get caught. But he said, people really remembered that of him, the good that he did for the youth. Although he never had children of his own, he did more for the children of Fall River than many people.
Yeah.
So, that's a great thing. And there's little things like that happen in the city.
I think you brought up an interesting topic, which, why doesn't Fall River, you don't see Fall River people always getting involved in things, and you see a lot of outside people coming in. And I think sometimes people don't know where to go. They hear a lot of there can be negativity. And I think any community, you have people that are negative, and so people just don't want to go and be involved in that. But I'm going to give you what I feel is the essence of Fall River. My youngest daughter runs track. She's in elementary school, and they have a track team for the city of Fall River, and it's absolutely amazing to watch. All of the elementary school kids, all of the middle school kids from the public schools meet at Durfee to run the track and field. And when I tell you, it is hundreds and hundreds of kids and parents from all walks of life, from all over the city, coming together to watch these kids run. And I think, this is my city. This is my Fall River. People are enjoying. They have the field house open, the snack shack. People are drinking coffee. They're having their muffins early in the morning on a Saturday morning, and it's free. It's a free thing for these kids, and all different types of families, all walks of life. You have grandparents, aunts, uncles, and they're watching these kids race. They just had their finals, and That to me is Fall River. There's no negativity there. There's no, I got you, I'm trying to find out, dig this. This is just my Fall River people enjoying the Fall River beauty. They run through the woods. It's Fall River.
They did that as well at Spencer Borden, where my grandson was. And we would go early on a Saturday morning, and you're right, and they would run all around the track, and they'd run through the woods and go to Spencer Borden and then run all the way back. And he loved it, and it got kids some exercise.
Yeah.
Because kids today go home, they're on computers and this and that, and the way society is, you're afraid to let your kids go out, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it really, we had a ball, you know, because you're cheering them on and they're feeling really good. But they do, you know, a lot of things like that. A lot of events in the city are free.
And that's what I love about our city. We
A lot of them are free.
Patty Rigo does a great job with Viva Fall River putting on things, events. I mean, we do a lot of good free things in the city.
They just did a free event Sunday for Halloween. And, you know, they gave candy, they had arts and crafts. The arts community was there, the Belmont Street Art Association. They do wonderful things as well. But there is a lot. You take our Battleship.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm
many
the biggest
people-
Battleship fan. I talk about it all the time. I love it.
Many people come to the Battleship. The head of the Veterans Association, Francisco Urena,
Yep.
I love him. He was the best. He came down with his children in a Boy Scout group to stay on the Battleship and told me it was a remarkable experience.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to have some stuff there that would tell us different things that are going on. Every time I drive by 2nd Street, by the back near where Urban's hair salon
Yes,
is,
yes.
and there are always people taking photographs and going
Liz-
into Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
All the time.
Yep. It's amazing.
You know, one woman was from the state of Washington, and she was doing an East Coast drive, and she said, "Oh yeah, we looked and we wanted to come and see this."
I think they're doing walking tours or something. There's groups of people walking into. I said, I think they're doing like these walking tours at night.
I'll tell you, the tours that they had through the Highlands, where people opened their homes, it was all like the older Victorian homes. Charlie, that has like, I don't know if you know Charlie, he has an old antique car.
No.
And his house is kind of diagonal to where the school administration office is. But his whole house is furnished with antiques. Al Lima's house is marvelous. The woodwork in that house, I think he's the third person, that's the third family to live there.
Oh wow.
But it's beautiful inside. And they even have like an area where off the pantry where the butler would be. They still have an ice box there. It was really fantastic to see.
Our
home.
historic district, the Highlands, those beautiful homes are so amazing. I would love to do. Charlie Demney was talking about maybe acquiring some trolleys. I'm telling you, I was so excited when he was talking about that because I can just envision a guided tour down in that area in those trolleys with like, you know, students maybe from BCC in the theater dressed up, talking about that era and talking about the different homes on
They
that
did
guided
that with
tours.
Bob Career's administration.
Did they?
They did that, and people were versed as they drove around the city, and it was a loop that continuously happened.
I love that. I go to New York City quite often. I'll be going again around the holidays. I always take the red buses on and sit on top and listen to. I could probably give the guided tour speech, but I love it. You go to the, you know, the apartment district, the sewing district, the garment district. I love it, and so. But Fall River is so rich in history, just like that. There is no reason why we can't offer something like that
We
here.
went to the Carolinas, to Charleston, and they have these older homes around, and we did this tour. And I looked at my husband, I said, they think these are beautiful homes. They have to see the ones in Fall River.
It's true.
You know, to promote ourselves. But people like, you know, Sandy and Dave Dennis really with CAN, they try to promote as much as they can. You also have FRAC that tries to promote. You have Patty Rigo that tries to promote. And some of the paintings and the murals that they're putting around the city, I think brings life to the city.
Yeah.
The one I was a little wishing that they had kept the Herald News logo and did a design around it.
Yeah.
But like you said, things change. And sometimes it's hard to accept change. But another one is Michael Benavides with his fabric week that he does. Beautiful.
Explain the Fabric Week?
He does a whole series on Fabric Week, and has different tours. He just got an award from the Portuguese Council. There was a number of people, and he was one of them. If you go into his market, you go
I
into
love it.
Portugalia, you sense the culture.
You said
You do.
it's beautiful in there. I absolutely love going in there. Portugal it's almost like a museum in itself.
It
It
is.
really is like a museum in itself. That's Fall River to me.
But you know how many people come from out of town to shop there?
Oh, tons. You look at the license plate.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can't get a parking place. You know, early morning, right before they close, it's mobbed inside. I love the codfish. They have the best codfish and octopus. That's the only place I go for codfish and
You make
octopus.
Linda makes the best octopus. I'm going to
Yes.
say you make the best octopus I've ever, and I love
octopus.
You make it the best. I'm just going to say
I'm
that.
gonna have to make it again.
You should make it again, and
gonna
we
have to.
could have a taste test at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I make it for my daughter and my brother-in-laws. Believe it or not, I got the recipe from my father-in-law. And my husband doesn't touch octopus, and neither does my 3 sister-in-laws. None of them do. But my brother-in-laws do, and I do. So my father-in-law would do it for the in-laws, you know?
Yeah.
For his son-in-laws and daughter-in-law. And my Megan, of course, she loves all kinds of fish. And my Eliza, my granddaughter. So I make it, you know, when we have the holidays and my Louis' family comes over, I make it for my, you know, my in-laws. And it's just, it's kind of for my father-in-law's soul.
Oh,
I'll cook for them.
I love that. It is the best. I don't know. I love to cook, but I don't know how to cook octopus. I don't know how to do it. I don't need to because you do it.
Yeah, my father-in-law gave me a good recipe.
But I have to, you know what? Those are the things. People come into the city to shop. And you think of like the little bodegas and the little Portuguese shops that are
So
around.
many.
The bakeries. I mean, the little bakeries that are just on these side streets, like Cunha's Bakery. You think of all of these stuff that are just in our city.
The Indian restaurant where the old depot was down on North Main Street, they cook food on Friday.
Yes.
Oh, and it's
yes,
so good.
It's so good. Listen,
So
and
good.
You know, I've been in there several times, and the spices that they have, the ingredients, stuff that you wouldn't even know. Again, it's just the essence of Fall River. You go up to the Flint and you go down where the Lebanese food is. I mean,
Well, this week, Saturday, one of my nephews turned 21. My great nephew turned 21, so I had to go to the Cape for his birthday party. And my sister-in-law and one of my nieces were up from Florida. And my sister-in-law's Lebanese, and so my niece is a half Portuguese, half Lebanese. So I had to go to Mario's for certain things that they wanted, and I had to go to Sam's Clubs for certain things. And I will tell you, I was in line at both of those stores. There were lines outside the door. It
Really?
was crazy.
No.
I was like, what's going on? Today's a Saturday. Usually, the Lebanese bakery on Sundays, it can be, if you go like right after Mass, a lot of people will go. So I know that time, you're going to have a little bit of a line. But I was like, where did all these people come from?
yeah.
And there was a woman there in line with me. Of course, I started talking to her. She was from North Carolina.
Wow.
And she said, oh, yeah, I came up from North Carolina. I had to get my fill. She said, I'll get a bunch of stuff and I'll freeze it. And she said, that's what I do.
That's what people, and you hear that
Yeah.
all the time in Fall River. And I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to people, not just Fall River people being able to venture out, but people being able to venture in and spending their money here and seeing everything that we have to offer. And guess what? We have some of the best medical care down here with our oncology, our hospitals. People are going to be able to come into our city now and get on the train that wouldn't be able to drive and utilize, our hospitals.
You know, a lot of people, too, senior citizens that want to move into Fall River, we have a phenomenal senior citizen group, and the activities they have at all of these senior, developments that we have, these little ones, the Flint, the North End, St. Elizabeth's. And I'll tell you, we had that Jennifer Milrick on.
Yes, yes.
And she mentioned about trying to get people from one center to another. And I think we've got that with a van.
Really?
So that's good. Just like the veterans down on Pine Street, people there, we can get a van and there's a driver and bring them to Corky Row on Wednesdays for a hot meal. So it's like people sharing with each other. I think that's
the essence
yes,
of Fall
it
River.
is.
That is who we are. Because when in doubt, the people that love this city really do come together. They do. I see it all the time. When we have a tragedy, when something goes wrong, no matter what side of the fence you're on, people in Fall River, they do come together. And, we've got 3 minutes left. And I have to say that with this time, I want to say to the people watching this that it can be scary. Change is scary.
The train is coming.
It's coming.
So we have it.
I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited to take that ride. And
dying to hear those sounds.
I'm dying to hear those sounds. It's a good time to be a Fall Riverite. It's a good time to watch the progression of our city, something that we've been wanting for many, many years. It's finally here.
And and the train
been recognized.
And the train is working together also with CERTA, with our buses, because, for example, in Somerset, the first bus leaves at like 8 o'clock. But if you have trains that are leaving at 6 or 7, then you're going to miss those trains. So you want to make sure that they coordinate, with the train schedule and the bus schedule coordinates. And they had a meeting about that over at City Hall last week to coordinate. So people are working together to see what is the best solution, what will fit to make things easier for people. I can't wait for it to come.
I'm excited. It's a good time to be here. I will say it again. Good things are happening. We're not left behind. We always say Fall River doesn't want to be left behind. We want to be recognized, and we matter.
And with dropping of 79, the construction that's going to be done there and all the acreage that we're going to get for development, it'll be like, walking around in Newport with all these little shops.
Yes.
And people will come to that. As they go to Newport, they will come to that here. I would hope that we'd get a hotel on the waterfront, and I know there's somebody that has land that was working on
Let's get
possibly
a hotel.
selling that.
Well, this was a great show. This was an exciting show. I am thrilled. I'm thrilled that you guys watched. I'm hoping that people go out and vote yes for it. I'm excited about it.
And just go out and vote.
Right, and we
The
still love
election
you
is
if you
the
vote no.
8th. Go vote. It's important to vote.
Vote. We want to get that voting up. We do.
If we had, out of the registered voters in Fall River, if we had 60% of them that went to the polls, let me tell you, Washington would pay attention to us, because the congressmen and senators could win or lose by the votes in Fall River. I don't know how many times I tell that to people, but they don't listen.
Get out and vote. Thank you so much.
We're good.
Have a
Thank
great
you, and
day.
have a great week.
And a great evening, because you're watching this at night.